moments ago you mentioned in relation to LeBron signing his contract, his 2-year contract extension, that maybe he asked about those first-round draft choices in 2027 and 2029 that the Lakers can trade. Do they have to trade both to get rid of Russell Westbrook, or can they send just one for him and then keep the other for another player that they could get to win a championship with LeBron right now? What's the strategy if the Lakers are willing to cough those up?
Yeah, it depends, obviously, on the deal. I mean, really, Russell Westbrook, in theory, Rich, they're going to bring Russ into camp and they're going to try a new strategy with him in a new role. And in theory, that could work. I don't believe it will work because I don't believe Russ is equipped to do what Darvin Ham is going to ask him to do. I've seen stranger things, so I'm not going to completely rule that out. But if you look at Russ as a trade piece, he is, at the end of the day, a $47 million expiring contract. And so one of the things that the Lakers could do is they could make a deal with a team that's just looking to get off of salary, looking to shed salary, and may be willing to give up 2 or 3 decent players. Now, you may say, well, what team is that? Well, those teams may not 100% be clear yet. We may have to see how the season unfolds. For example, people pay attention to Donovan Mitchell in Utah. Mm-hmm. Well, if he gets traded at some point, maybe it's before the season, maybe it's in November, they still have other players on that roster that they may then want to trade and get salary cap space. Maybe the Lakers can be involved in that. Maybe there's another deal. They've talked to Indiana about clearing their books off. Now, would a trade to acquire, a guy like Bojan Bogdanovic or Buddy Hield, is that going to be a type of deal that you would throw multiple picks in that would change the Lakers' whole outlook? Not necessarily. I think what you're talking about is the Brooklyn Nets deal. Would they be willing to trade the 2 first-round picks plus Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving? And maybe even potentially, because Kyrie makes so much less, takes some more money back in that trade, maybe you get a player like Joe Harris or Seth Curry. Would that type of trade be worth setting 2 second-round picks? I would say maybe that it would be, because you get Kyrie Irving. That is a change that would elevate your status and maybe give you a championship contending team that you're looking for. The question is, Brooklyn's got to want to do that deal. Utah or Indiana's got to want to do that deal. I'm not sure Brooklyn is in the mood right now to trade anybody. They're obviously are taking calls on Kevin Durant, but the way that they're conducting the calls and what they're asking for Durant, it's not leading teams to believe that they're seriously interested in trading anybody. Maybe that'll change. We know that it's going to be fluid. So when LeBron signed his contract in 2018, he was doing so thinking that it was going to work out for the Lakers. He ended up being right in the short term about that. He signs this contract thinking it's all going to end up working out for the Lakers. And I will say, if you look at the history of their team, most of the time it does. Although these last couple of years it hasn't gone so good.